Hello everyone, welcome to another trade breakdown on EU. In today's breakdown, I'll be breaking down a trade that I took last Friday. It was an interesting and unique trade because it did not have the typical qualities that I usually look for in a trade, but I still executed it and had enough conviction in it that it would play out. I'll explain to you how it wasn't a typical trade and what were the reasons which led me to having conviction in this trade idea that I managed to execute it. Now, before getting further into the video, one thing I want to make sure you understand is that these types of trades are risky, right? And you have to be extremely cautious and look for as much protocols and confluences as you can before taking it, right? My advice to you would be to just stick to the ones that I've already taught you before, right? I want to share this with you, this model with you, this trade with you, because I want to open your mind to these things as well, right? That taking such counter trades are also possible, right? So the point is, don't integrate it into your model right away, but instead just watch this for just educational purposes and just to have a different perspective about how things work, right? So we're gonna start off with first of all the daily time frame, right? Now we know that on the daily time frame we have two objectives. First of all, we have to determine our high time frame drawn liquidity, and second, our high time frame buys, right? On the daily time frame, what you can see is on Thursday we had this bullish daily candle. We tested this discount FEG right here and then we expanded higher. After this expansion, I determined my drawn liquidity to be this weekly range high or this daily range high right here. I took that high as my drawn liquidity and determined my buys to be bullish on the higher time frame, right? You can see the two objectives on the daily higher time frame have now been met, right? We have determined our drawn liquidity and determined our buys. Now let's go down to the 4 hour time frame to see what we got there and how did I build a narrative and select a CRT there. On the 4 hour time frame, first of all, you can see that on Wednesday we came lower to take out this low, right? We tested the daily FVG and found this bottom right here, which means that we had a Wednesday midweek reversal weekly profile, right? And we formed the low of the week on Wednesday. On Thursday, we expanded higher towards the drawn liquidity, right? But on Friday, things were a bit interesting, right? What happened is that with Friday's daily open, we ranged during the Asian session and formed a ranging profile just below this high right here, right? What you can also see about this candle is that this candle can be treated as a CRT, right? You know why? Because it was formed around a key level, and yesterday on Thursday, price used it as a CRT and tested the key level to expand higher, but we never reached the target on Thursday, right? And now on Friday, we started off with a ranging profile during the Asian session, and we still haven't yet taken out the target or the CRT high yet. Now, what my expectation on Friday was is that I wanted this CRT high to be purged at a key time and for price to have an intraday normal protraction profile, right? And then price to reverse from there. Now, just like I said before, even though my drawn liquidity is higher, I still looked for shorts on Friday. And the main reason for that is the narrative that I had built, right? Even though this high is the drawn liquidity, right? But it's Friday, and Friday usually tends to be a retracement or a reversal profile. And moreover, we formed a ranging profile during the ascent session on Friday below this CRT high, which can also be treated as a key level. And then when it was purged, it went lower and formed a confirmational order block entry on the 15 minute, which increased my conviction in this trade idea even more. Another thing is that all of this happened at a key time, right? Which was also an integral part of this analysis and this narrative that I built on the 4 hour time frame. The main factor behind this whole analysis, was weekly profiles, right? And specifically Friday's retracement weekly profile. This sort of weekly profile occurs when we've already have had a pretty decent range expansion throughout the last few days and throughout the week, right? And when that happens, and in that case, Friday tends to act as a retracement to close the weekly candle lower or to form the high of the week in that case. We had a Friday retracement weekly profile. We purged the CRT at 3 a.m., which is a key time for purges. We had a normal intraday protection profile on the intraday charts, and along with that, we formed a confirmation order block entry by displacing lower after the purge of the CRT happened. Right? These were all the factors which led me to taking a short trade in the counter direction of the high time frame drawn liquidity. Now, just like I said before, you should never start taking these sort of trades right away because they are really risky, right? And they only work when there are specific factors and protocols backing up the trade. Otherwise, you'd end up losing a lot of trades if you trade it like this, right? Your objective as a trader must be only to take entries in the direction of the high time frame down liquidity and then select key levels in CRT that are also aligned in that particular direction and then position yourself within those CRT on the intraday charts, right? Now let's go down to the 15-minute time frame to see what we got there. On the 15-minute time frame, you can see that right away from the opening time, we started out with a ranging profile, and throughout the time of the Asian session, we kept ranging and formed an Asian session range and generated liquidity below that CRT high. Now, also according to intraday profiles and the open high low close concept, we've generated liquidity in the first quarter, and now the second phase is going to be to purge and manipulate that liquidity at a key time, right? With the start of the London Opal console and the 3 a.m. key time, you can see what happened is that we had a manipulation in a normal intraday protraction profile, and with that, we also purged a major 4-hour CRT and we formed the high of the day there, and that confirmed the manipulation profile being done. And right after that, what happened is that we displaced lower with this move and we formed this new order block entry right here, right? This is the exact candle which purged the CRT, right? And then this candle got engulfed and price closed below it. And after that, I waited for price to retrace to this order block, test it, execute my entry, and then run towards the target. What happened is that we retraced to the order block during the New York Open kill zone and we tested the order block at a key time, which is the 9 a.m. key time, and right after that, we expanded lower. Now, here what the framework of my entry was that I took the entry at the order block slow with my stop loss above the order block and I targeted 3R, which is my go-to target, right? If you know me and if you've watched my content, right? That was the whole trade breakdown. It was a unique one because it was in the counter direction of the high time frame drawn liquidity. But the point of this breakdown is to show you that you can take these types of entries too when you are an advanced trader, right? And when you are good at building sharper and clearer narratives with all of these concepts, right? And if you are a beginner or an intermediate student, you must stick to those entries that are only aligned with the higher time frame directional bias, right? And if they're not, you should avoid taking them, right? The reason why I took this entry right here is because I had enough conviction. There were enough confluences in factors that were baking up that trade idea that I built, right? And that's why I took it, right? Because if it had only if it had only one to two small factors or confluences, then I wouldn't have taken it, right? But just because it happened at a key time, we had the weekly profiles, the intraday profiles all backing it up, and we also had a CRT there. All of those factors led me to taking that trade idea and led me to having conviction in that particular trade idea.